The National Assembly has passed the Student Loan Act Bill 2024, awaiting President Bola Tinubu's assent. This followed separate considerations by both Senate and House of Representatives of the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institution and TETFund. What does this mean to Nigeria? Let's get to find out.
To me, I don't think it's a good idea because there are some students that are actually sponsoring themselves. And with the way the country is hard, with the way things are going, people are like striving and they have some other expenses. As a student, you talk of school fees, talk of house rent, you talk of the hand bills. Like some lecturers, they are so much good at selling their handouts. So with the way the country is, I don't think it's a good idea because to some students, at the end of the day, they might not end up to meet up the target or to be able to pay the loan. So it might be favorable to some people and it might not be favorable to some people. So to me, I don't think it's a good idea.
The student loan, I'm in support of it because it's something that should have been done even before the new president comes in. You understand? I think it will enable the students, those that are not buoyant enough to go to school, it will help them in one way or the other to further their education. The only advice I have for them is, a past government, if they say they want to do something, at times they will end up not doing it. The only advice I have for them is, since they have bring it up to help students by issuing the loan to them, they should go ahead and do it. Not something that they will say at the end of the day they will not do it. So that's the advice I have for them.
The student loan is not a bad idea, but the problem about Nigeria is we do principles we don't even implement. There are a lot of principles in places they are not implementing it, or they're implementing it the wrong way. And more thing I can say about it is, how are they planning to do it? Is this something people will still embezzle it? People in charge, who are the people in charge? Who are the people monitoring this process? And having students in debt, how are they taking back this debt? They say, okay, if you haven't started work, they won't start deducting. How sure are we about that? New governments will come, everything will change. They'll start chasing people around, or, this is Nigeria.
Yes, the student loan will help because a lot of people, some of them, they don't have any other thing doing, mostly the students, and those who don't have parents. It will help them to boost their economic and their educational career.
I'm supporting 50% and I'm not supporting 50%. 50% in the sense that it helps the students to be able to pay for their school fees or get normal school bags, school books, and also pay for handouts. But the other thing is how to repay it. You don't have a job. How will you get money to pay back? So that's another thing. And in the country that we are now, getting a job is very difficult unless you want to be an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur, you also need capital. I don't know if you're getting my point. You also need capital. So all those things, unless the loan is going to be huge amounts that can also cover your school fees, buying you handouts, buying you books, and also help you, if some students are wise enough, to also get small little things that you are doing. You can do donuts. If you are elite, you can do donuts, egg roll, and sell. While some guys, I think the other things guys can do if it's barbing something you want to do. So those are my honest opinion.
Yeah, talking about the student loan bill that was passed, that was submitted at the National Assembly, right? For me, I think what I really think that should have been done is that loan should have been changed to grants instead of loan. A grant is something that you cannot pay back, just like assisting you. But when you're talking about loan, it's something you have to pay back. What are the modalities of paying back? And we are talking about students. These are students in this country where even after you must have finished schooling and all that, when will you get a job, start working and think of paying back? Because when you start working, even before you start working, there are a lot of responsibilities. So I think for me, it's a misplaced priority. It should be students have the right to benefit, but let it be in form of grants and not loan, because loan can, in fact, how many of them can be repaid back by the same students and all that? So the government should place their priorities right by converting it to, it can be reviewed and said, okay, let it be a grant. This is what we are doing as part of our promise, our campaign promise to help the Nigerian students. So grant should be the right word and not loan.
The truth is that sometimes when governments have intentions, I get worried about the procedure. And when I say procedure, I talk about the process of getting this loan. How will students access this loan, and what are the requirements, who is qualified for this loan, and what are the repayment measures and the duration of this loan. This should be made very clear to the students, because sometimes some loans are quite indicting. When you as a student access a loan, which is what is obtainable in advanced countries, but sometimes this can be quite victimizing, because this loan will have a way of holding you to ransom at a point. So I would have preferred that government do not even call it a loan, they should call it a grant. If it's a grant, it's a more or less helping students to acquire education. Even the downtrodden can acquire education. Those in low sector of the economy can also acquire education. So I want government, in as much as it's already passed as a law as it is today, is a law. But before this loan is implemented, I want them to explain to the students in clarity how this loan can be accessed and what are the implications of getting this loan. Then again, I also want government to carry the student leaders along. The nuns and the other student leaders have to be involved in the process, because they are the ones that speak for the students across all levels, both private and public institutions. Then again, government should also go beyond giving student loan to creating employment, because if the youth are engaged, if youth are well employed, if there are opportunities to thrive, you might not be needing loan to go to school. Parents will not have to subject students to access a loan to be able to get education, which should be a right, not a privilege, for every child to get educated. So my worries remains, what are the procedures and what is the implication of this loan, so that students will not feel from getting a loan as a student, then start using their lifetime to pay a loan. That will not be good at all.
Okay, the students' loan bill, actually, yes, I would support it very much, because if you look at developed countries, that's the very same thing a lot of these developed countries have done to help their students, have access to tertiary education. And the problem with Nigeria is usually not the bills being passed or the laws being made. The problem with Nigeria has basically been implementation. Could be implemented for a couple of months and then it goes down the drain. So I think if it's properly implemented, it would go a very long way. So yes, I'm in support of the student loan that has now been approved, and I hope it really works.
It will help those students, those people that have interest of going to school, that won't be able to pay their school fees. It will encourage them to go to school. So it's a nice idea. I hope the government implements it, and so that it will encourage other students, other people that will really want to, people from poor background that don't have who to sponsor them. It will be a good one, and it's a bonus, it's a plus on the government.
Indeed, a lot of Nigerians are in support of the student loan. They are greatly in support for the government to implement the student loan 2024 in order to help people that are not capable of paying their tertiary institution. I am Namsifon Etin reporting for Global TV.